Hello guys, in this tutorial we're gonna create this cool looking Toon car from only this image. And first we need to know that this image is orthographic, and that's why we need to model this considering that fact that it's orthographic rendering. So let's go and import this image to 3ds Max as a reference, but we're not gonna create exactly on this model, we're just gonna eyeball it. So let's memorize these numbers. It's 564 to 423, and go back to 3ds Max and open this, and now write the values that we memorized. Okay, press Shift and F and drag and drop this into our perspective view and choose it to be viewport background. Press OK. Okay, now if we want to move it like this, if you want the image to move with our grid, we need to activate the 2D pan zoom mode. So we press to the plus icon here and go to 2D pan and zoom mode. Okay, by doing this our image will move with our box. So let's create a box, something like this, and move it up like this. Okay, now let's press Alt and X to see through our model, and press F4 to activate the edges that we can see it. So select all these edges and add several segments on it. Okay, let's double click to it and move it up like this. So we double click on it, move it a little bit up, and move this to front, and double click on it, move it a little bit up, and move it back, something like this. And let's select, let's see, this top part is a little bit, it's gonna go a little bit to the left, but not this much, a little bit needs to go back. Okay, so the back side we need to move. Actually, I don't want this image to move with my grid, so let's unlock this pan and zoom mode. We're gonna use this image as a reference only, so let's select this one and move it back, also move it down and move it back like this. Okay, let's add one more segment here, press connect, add only one. Okay, now we need to move it down like this and move it back to get this look. Okay, good. Now we need to create window first, and then we're gonna create this top part. Okay, so the windows is gonna be here, and for this maybe we just move it back, move it down so that this line gets straight. It's still not straight, so double click on it, press Z to make it exactly aligned with Z axis. So move it back so that it gets straight. Now let's have a closer look. So this window is something aligned with this height, so we can extract the window exactly from here. So let's select this edge, press ring to select all these edges and add two segments. Okay, let's add one, and now as you see it's checked, so we need to make it straight. That's why we need to press X-axis here. And now we need to make chamfer to make it double. Okay, so this is real close to the edge, right edge, so let's move it like this, and this goes somewhere to the middle. Actually, I guess it's in its right position, maybe it needs to go a little bit left. Okay, so let's select this. Also it needs to go down a little bit. Let's move it like this. Let's fix this part. Okay, now we select, we also select this one. Let's just delete it, or maybe we just extrude it inside a little bit. Okay, then let's delete it, or maybe we just detach it because we're gonna create windows out of them. We press Alt and X to make it visible. Okay, so what we need to do is, let's make it visible too. Press Alt and X. Let's change the color. Okay, now let's delete this edge because we don't need it. Let's do the same with this one. Press Ctrl and backspace to get rid of extra edge. Now what we need to do is select all these polygons and press extrude, but we need to extrude outwards, something like this. Okay, now we have sides. Now we can delete this, but we have sides, so let's give it shell modifier to it. Let's make it inner amount, something like this. Now we need to create this window, so we can create this window exactly out of this previous one. So let's select these elements and move it up. Okay, so let's scale it a little bit like this and select these top vertices and move it down like this. Okay, now we can detach them. Let's select these newly created elements and scale them like this, so it's a little bit smaller than the original window frame. We can also select these polygons, these two polygons, and move them inside. So let them be separate element. It's okay. Okay, now make sure that this is a little bit smaller than the original window, because when we give the shell modifier this time we're gonna give little amount inner and little amount outer, so that it's like this. Okay, now we need to do is, maybe we just delete this middle element, and after creating shell we just convert it to editable poly, and I guess I deleted entire element. Okay, so let's go back to the shell, add edit poly modifier. So let's change the color first. Okay, select all these edges, press connect, add two segments and bring them closer, something like this. By doing this we have now a polygon, small polygon here, and select these polygons and press bridge. Now we attach this together. Also select this one and this one, press bridge. Okay, now we have nice window. What we need to do now is, so select this, move it down a little bit so that it's rectangle. Now we need to create box. go back here, create small box here. So you create small box and move it up. I guess we need to increase the shell amount, or maybe just select these vertices and move it inside, because our window doesn't stick, it's not where it needs to be. Okay, so we created the box. Basically it's the glass, so we move it like this. We need to move like this, press, or maybe we just adjust from here. Okay, so we duplicate it and move it to the left. Okay, now our window is ready. We need to add this small thing here. Also we need to add this upper details. So let's count how many things we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so let's go back here, extended primitives, choose chamfer box. So let's create chamfer box here on the top. Let's move it like this and adjust the fillet like this. Okay, let's make it a little bit bigger. Let's adjust the fillet segments. Let's make it bigger and longer, something like this. Okay, let's make it a little bit smaller. Okay, now we need to create these ones. So they are basically the cylinders. Let's go here, move it like this, get rid of these 5 height segments, and okay, let's convert it to editable poly and drag these ones like this and rotate it 90 degrees. Press this one so it's easy to rotate. Okay, now what we need to do is get rid of these upper segments. So let's select this one, this one, this one, select all these uppers except the last one. Press Ctrl and backspace, and if you have black areas, so select all of these polygons, press Auto Smooth, and that's it. So let's make it smaller, and as we know we have 8 of them, so let's duplicate and press 7, because we have 1 and 7 more copies. It's gonna be 8. So let's attach. First let's make it unique and then attach. Okay, we attached, and now let's make it smaller to fit here. Okay, good, great. Now we need to create this lower one, so let's duplicate this one and move it like this. We make it a little bit longer and thicker, and we decrease the fillet and move it like this, move it up. Okay, good. Now we need to create this door. So let's select this edge and ring. Press ring, add one segment and make it straight by pressing X. And now let's chamfer it. Something like this. And move it back somewhere because it has same amount from here and from here. It's okay now. Okay, now we need to straighten this, make it straight. So let's select this edge, press X, press Z and move it down a little bit. Move it a little bit down. Okay. And now let's select this door. And actually it's a little bit smaller. So let's select this one. And maybe we just select these vertices and make it like this. Okay. So let's extrude, or maybe we just detach, or maybe we just inset it. Really small amount, really small. Okay, so let's deselect this because we're gonna have only one window here. Okay, we don't need door here. Actually, maybe there is a door here, but we don't know. So I guess it's only one door here, and it's for drivers. Okay, so press OK. And now let's press this polygon and press Shift and select the second one, so that we select the loop, and press extrude and extrude it inside like this. Press OK, and as you see we have extruded inside. Now let's do the same with this window here. Press this like this and extrude. Okay, now we need to select this inside part, and it's gonna be a window. Okay, so let's inset like this. Okay, we need to make smaller inset because it's really close to the edge, so we press inset. Let's make it smaller like this. Okay, and we're gonna extrude, but not like this, a little bit smaller. Okay, good. We can adjust it with our hand, something like this. Okay, now we need to add these hinges here, 2 hinges and 1 handle. Okay, and let's create a cylinder. It's just a simple cylinder here, and let's decrease it to 12 segments and move it to its place. It's really small. One here and another one here. Okay, and we also need one handle here, so we create box. Press auto grid to create the box exactly here, and something like this. Press auto grid again to disable it. So convert to editable poly, extrude it one time. Okay, and from here we need to extrude one more time. Okay, so let's scale it down like this. Okay, it's basically the handle. Good. Now what we need to do is create these tires, and we also need to create this bumper. Okay, this buffer, I don't know what to call it. So first maybe let's create these mirrors first. So we're gonna go to splines and go to rectangle and create rectangle here. Okay, and adjust the position. So it's basically lower part starts from here and upper part goes somewhere here. So we need to adjust height. It's big. Okay, so we go like this. We convert it to editable spline. We select this segment and delete this inner one. Now we need to make these parts rounded. Let's enable render and enable viewport. Let's make it smaller, something like this. Let's adjust the size to 16, and now let's select the vertices here. Now we need to add fillet. Okay, let's increase the fillet and see what value is okay for us. I guess it's okay. Actually it's a little bit sharp, but it's okay. So we need to create these mirrors. So it's something like a box. So let's create it. Let's move it right where it needs to be. Okay, now let's create mirrors. So we create box here. Create box here. Okay, we adjust the position. Okay, so let's delete this part and let's scale it down like this and move it like here. So let's select this element and press shift and move it down. Now scale it like this. Okay, if we press turbo smooth, we're gonna have something like this, but if we select this edge and press ring and chamfer it, after turbo smooth it's gonna look something like this, and this is exactly what we want. Now we can select this, convert to editable poly and close the cap. Okay, so let's attach it to this mirror holder and press shift and duplicate it to the left side and press mirror, choose the right axis. Okay, good. And now let's create this bottom part and tires. So for this I'm gonna use the tube. So let's go here, and the tires is gonna be somewhere like here. Okay, let's position it. Okay, it's something like this. Let's move it a little bit up. Let's scale it down a little bit. Okay, now let's get rid of these 5 segments. Let's press and duplicate and move it here. Press copy. Now convert it to editable poly and attach them together. Okay, what we need to do is, we can see a little part of it from here, and what we need to do now is delete these lower parts. So select polygons and delete these parts. Great. Now select these lower vertices and choose Z axis, or maybe another axis. Okay, move it down like this. Okay, and now what we need to do is select this one, this polygon and this polygon, and choose bridge. Select this polygon, back polygon, and this front polygon, and extrude it like this. Okay, now we need to adjust this like this, and as we see, it goes like here, something like this. We also have one go here, so let's select and move it like this. And actually we don't have something in middle here, it's just like this and then just like this, so we get rid of this polygon here. We just isolate it and select the border and press cap and select these alone vertices and connect it. Let's do the same with here. Press 3 and press cap. Let's close this, connect these vertices. Okay, so what we need to do now is end isolation. Actually, we don't need this part too, so let's delete this. Let's select this edge and this edge and press bridge. Also select this empty area and press cap. Good. Now we need to do is select all the left vertices and move it left so that we have the same on the left side. And okay, we have nice details. So let's select this one and choose inset. Okay. Also we need to close this polygon. Press cap. So select this polygon and press inset and press extrude, and this is basically this bottom detail, something like this. Maybe we need to select this one and this one and move it up a little bit. Also we need to move everything down. Something like this. Okay, so now what we need to do is delete these parts, and for this we select this. Let's move it here, and let's select this edge and select this edge. Press connect and choose one. Okay, so the one we move it to the center of the tire, and the second we go like this. Now select both of them and press chamfer. Okay, press. Now let's add segments to the middle. Okay, something like this. Let's make it 5. Okay, now let's adjust it. So we move it one to here, another to here. Let's move 2 of them to the top. Let's separate them a little bit. Let's do the same with these parts and move it like this. Select these and separate them. And that's how we get rid of this area. Let's do the same with here. Scale it like this, move it like this. Let's move these two here. Scale it like this. Also move it like here. Scale it like this. Okay. Good. That's great. Now we need to create tires, and it's basically the cylinder. Let's make it 16. Let's move it like this. Okay, let's give them height. Let's move it like this. Okay, let's convert to editable poly. Let's select this part, press inset. Let's move it like this, make it smaller. Okay, now let's extrude, but inside. Okay, let's inset, and now let's bevel like this. Let's make it smaller. Okay, let's double click here and make it smaller too. Now let's select this part and press chamfer. Let's adjust the size of the segments, and let's adjust the size of the chamfer. Okay. Now let's select this one and add chamfer to it too. Let's do the same with the back part. Okay, let's select back edges too and do the chamfer there. Okay. Okay. Now let's select and press Alt Smooth. Okay, good. Let's duplicate this. Okay, let's do the same with this. Rotate it 180 degrees and adjust the position. Okay. Now what we need to do is create the front windows. So let's press this and choose all the edges like this. Press 1 to connect, and now let's choose, press inset. Okay, and do the same with this. Press inset. Okay, now let's select this and extrude like this. Okay, great. Now we need to create this part. Select this. Actually, what we can do is press shift and move it like this. Choose it to be different object, and select newly created object and change the color, and press Ctrl and backspace. Okay, now let's give a shell, and now move it like this. Let's bring this pivot to its center. Well, let's go here and press affix pivot only and press center to object, so it goes directly to its center. Like this. We need to scale it a little bit like this. We also need to maybe scale it like this. Let's adjust the shell mount, move it like this. Okay. Okay, now we need to create these parts. So let's see how many of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so let's select this one and select these polygons. Press scale and shift scale it down. Okay, choose it to be different object. Select newly created object and change the color. And let's scale it like this. Let's first give a shell. Okay, let's get rid of this central line. Press Ctrl and backspace. So let's create a shell. Let's go back to the shell and move it pivot to its center. Now let's scale it like this. Let's scale it like this, because we need to have a space from top and from the bottom. We also need to move it like this, because we need to have space both from bottom and from the top. Okay, let's scale it like this. Okay, actually let's create these headlights from this box too. Let's move it like this. Let's scale like this. Let's go here and move it up. Great. What we need to do is create 2 toruses here. Like this. So let's create torus. Choose auto grid and create one. Let's make it bigger. Let's move it up. Let's move it down. Duplicate it down. Also create a sphere inside of this. So create sphere. Also let's turn off the auto grid and align it to the center. Okay, good. Now let's create this, select this object, convert it to editable poly and attach these objects. Now let's go like this, duplicate it and make it bigger. Okay, let's move the headlights up a little bit. Okay, and now we need to create 7 gaps here. So let's go convert it to editable poly and select this edge and ring it. Now we need to create 2 segments and move it like this. Now we need to do the same, and now we need to add 7, like it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 7. Okay. We also need to select these edges and press connect and select 2 of them and make them separate. Okay, so what we need to do is select these 7 edges and extrude them inside. So now we extruded them outside, so let's move it like this, and let's decrease the amount. Okay, something like this. Actually we did it wrong, because let's go back. Okay, okay, now we need to create these 2 segments. Let's go like this. Okay, now we need to add 5 segments because we have 2 here. So let's select this and add 5. Okay, and now we select this, and this, and press extrude. We need to make them negative and decrease the gap like this, and here it is. It's great. We just need to move this inner edge a little bit more. Okay, and if you want to get rid of these triangles here, you just go here and select all these vertices and press Y. Select all these vertices and press Y, and now we have real good rectangles, straight lines here. And if you have some black areas, you just select all the polygons and press auto smooth, or you just press clear all. Okay, now let's see what we left. Okay, it's good. What we need to create is this this object back in the back of the car, and we also need to create the top of the car. So let's create a box, something like this, and move it like this. So align this box with our car. Now its car is in the middle of this box is in the middle of the car. So we move it a little bit upper than this edge. Okay, now we scale it down so that a little bit part of this box is visible. Maybe like this. Okay, now we select this polygon and press inset. Okay, now we move it back like this and we extrude it. Let's make it a little bit smaller. Okay, so let's move it upper so that this edge is visible. Well, let's select these polygons and press auto smooth so that this edge to be sharp. And okay, now let's scale it like this because it's a little bit small. Now let's create top of the car. So let's select all the upper polygons. Okay, and let's extrude them outwards. Okay, and let's do it one more time. Now let's bevel them. So its bevel is the same as extrusion, but it goes like this. Okay, now let's select this loop and press extrude. Press bevel actually. Let's move it like this. Let's do the same with the lower loop. Press extrude. Press bevel. Let's do the same with the, but let's make it a little bit bigger. Now we have something like this. Okay, what we need to do is create an ice cream now. And okay, now let's create the ice cream. And how are we gonna create this? So we have 4 turns here, and the hardest part of the ice cream is this. So let's start by creating this. So let's go to the splines and create helix, and press like this and adjust the height. Also adjust the second radius. Let's isolate first. Okay, now we turn it 4 times. Okay, let's turn off this. Okay, we can do it with this too. We can adjust this, and it looks like a piece of shit rather than ice cream because it's rounded, it's circle. So we're not gonna use it, and the main reason is because these parts needs to get smaller. That's why we turn off this, and we're gonna use this helix as a path. So let's create another shape, which is star. Okay, now let's make it 5 sides. Okay, now let's extrude it. Extrude it. Good. Let's add segments, like, I don't know, 200. Now we need to make one part small, so we add FFT and select this part and scale it down like this. Okay, so let's convert to editable poly. We have this kind of shape, and now we need to do this. We go to the path deform modifier, choose peak path, and we press move to path. Okay, let's change the color so that it's visible here. Okay, now we need to stretch. We need to stretch something like this. Okay, but we have some gaps here because our object is small. So let's scale it up and stretch it down. We're gonna do it one more time like this. Okay, now we need to push it. Press push and push it. Okay, something like this. Let's rotate it so that it looks like more like ice cream, and add turbo smooth. We can use relax modifier to fix it. Maybe we just add first turbo smooth and choose smoothing groups so that it's straight, and then we add second turbo smooth to fix it, and we just do relax. And right now we can't use relax because this path deform is preventing us. Now let's create measure object from compound objects. choose measure, and then select our object. Now we need to go to hierarchy and choose affect object only, and this we always use this pivot. Now we need to use object and press center to pivot. And now our object comes exactly where it needs to be. Okay, now we can convert it to editable poly, and now we can add relax modifier. Okay, first we don't need to adjust it too much, because if you adjust it too much it's gonna look like previous. That's why we don't and we won't only relax this part, but if we use relax modifier, it relaxes entire object, and this is what we don't want. So let's delete this and go back to the freeform and paint the form. From here we can select relax and soften brush, relax, and we relax this part. Great. We also press shift and adjust these areas, like adjust these parts a little bit. We also need to relax these inner parts. Actually it's not gonna be visible, but anyway it's better to fix them. Okay, maybe these parts too. Okay, let's move this inside like this. Okay, so we have nice ice cream. Let's delete this. Let's move it here. Now let's move it like this here. Let's move it 90 degrees. Let's scale it down like this. Okay. And now we need to create this cone, and this is basically a cone. So let's select this and create the cone. Now we have two radiuses, and we need to decrease one to 0, and let's adjust the height. So we need to do like this. Something like this. Let's decrease the height, decrease the radius, and move the ice cream like this. Okay, we need to rotate it. Let's turn off this angle snap tool. Let's move it like this. Okay, let's scale it down. Okay, I guess this ice cream needs to be bigger. Let's increase the radius like this. Move it to the left, and great. Now let's get rid of this back image in the background. Press Shift and F to make it full screen, and press Alt and B to go to the viewport background and choose use custom layer gradient colors. Okay, now we go back to previous when we open the max. And now let's add materials, and actually we have only one material here. and the original materials are not good, I guess. We just maybe add our own materials. So let's make it pink, and let's make it orange, orangey yellow, something like this. And let's make it car something like pink, purple, a little bit purple. Let's do like this. Okay, and let's make it white, maybe the mirrors. Let's select these parts and make it like something like brown. This one too. Let's select tires and make them black, or maybe dark gray. Let's select door, and actually it's not a separate object, so that let's select it like this. Select this polygon and press grow, grow, and grow. Let's give it a different color, something like this. Let's do the same. Oh, we forget to add a window here. Let's do it quickly. Press Inset and Extrude. Let's move it like this. Okay, grow, 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 and give different color. Okay, now we need to give color to glass windows. Well, let's make it blue. Okay, let's give the green color to all the windows and blue color to the glass. Okay, let's make this part too, maybe this part. Let's give this part a brown color, but let's select everything except this box and give white like this. Everything except the box, something like this. So let's give this brown. Okay, something like this. I guess this color is better than everything in white. Maybe we just change the color, this color, to something different. Okay, well, let's add this brown to the hinge. Okay, something like this. Now we have nice car, ice cream selling car. Press group, ice car, and move it to the center. So here is our car. I hope you like this tutorial, and see you soon, guys. Bye.